In part 1 of the CELPIP reading, you will be presented a letter or similar communication like an email. Reading part 2, reading to apply to a diagram. This section presents a fascinating visual, like a picture or a diagram, alongside a set of questions. Are you ready to unlock your Canadian dreams with a strong CELPIP score? Many underestimate the reading section, but with these right strategies and guidance, you can master it with confidence. In this video, we dive deep into practical tips and effective strategies along with expert advice to equip you with the skills to conquer this crucial part of the CELPIP test. As you may have seen in our previous CELPIP intro video, reading section is in 4 parts. That is about 60 minutes long. And again, you have multiple choice questions. Before we delve into the specifics of each part, make sure to internalize these points regarding the CELPIP reading section. Next button. Please avoid using next button until you have answered all the questions of the current page. The CELPIP exam does not allow any backtracking during the exam, and once the time of that page is up, the screen will automatically move on to the next page. Time allocation. Each part of the reading section is allocated its own specific time. You'll find a countdown timer in the top right corner near the next button. This means you don't need to worry about keeping track of time separately on your watch. Highlighting feature. Unfortunately, the CELPIP test does not have a highlighting feature, so you won't be able to highlight any words or phrases in the text. Therefore, it's important to improve your note-taking skills to address this challenge on test day. Text appearance. In CELPIP reading, both the reading passage and the questions with answer options are displayed simultaneously on the screen. The reading passage appears on the left side of the screen with the questions on the right side. Scrolling feature. To navigate through all parts of the passage and questions, you'll need to scroll up and down on each side of the screen. Flexible options. You can change your answers as long as you're on that specific page, as there is no backtracking in the CELPIP exam. Different types of questions. There are 3 different types of questions: general meaning, specific information, and inference. General meaning. These questions require you to identify the topic, main idea, or theme of the passage. You must consider the big picture and extract the information from either the entire text or specific parts of the paragraph. Example questions you may encounter during the exam include: what is the main topic of this passage? Or what is the theme of the second paragraph? Specific information type of questions. Unlike some questions that ask for overall idea, these require laser focus. You will be hunting for key information like facts, figures, or dates. Think names, locations, or specific numbers mentioned in the passage. But that's not all. You might also be asked with finding supporting details. These evidence that strengthen the main point. These details are like the little puzzle pieces that build the bigger picture. Now, things get a bit more interesting with opinions. Can you identify whose point of view is being expressed? Is it a character in the story, or maybe the author themselves? Finally, keep an eye out for examples. These are used to explain a concept or illustrate a point made in a passage. So, remember, specific details, supporting details, opinions, and examples, these are hidden gems you need to unearth to ace the detail-oriented questions in the CELPIP reading section. Inference type of questions. These questions require you to draw conclusions and make assumptions based on the information in the passage. The answer options will not be directly stated in the passage, so you must interpret the text and choose the best answer. This involves making assumptions or drawing logical conclusions about what you read. These questions are more challenging and require high-level critical thinking skills. Question difficulty. As you navigate through the CELPIP exam, specifically talking about the CELPIP reading, be prepared for gradual increase in the complexity of the test. For both the reading passage and the questions, you progress from part 1 to part 4. Practice test. CELPIP reading begins with a practice test. It takes 1 minute and is not mandatory. It is designed to help you become familiar with the computer setup, including the monitor, mouse, and pen and paper if needed for the exam. Thank you for watching so far. Let's go to part 1 of CELPIP reading. Part 1, Reading Correspondence. In part 1 of the CELPIP reading, you will be presented a letter or similar communication like an email. Your task is to carefully read this email or letter to understand the content of this communication. Afterwards, you will be tested on your understanding through a series of questions related to the content of the same communication. In part 1 of CELPIP reading, you will be presented 6 questions in the form of incomplete sentences with drop-down menu that you have to read the statements, find the keywords, and choose the best option that corresponds and aligns with the information stated in the email. As you see on the right side of this screen, you need to fill in the blanks in an email which is in response to the main email of reading part 1. So carefully read the email and choose the best option out of the drop-down menu. Skim the main passage and the questions before starting the actual reading. This should take you about 1 minute. After that, scan the text to find answers to the questions. This shouldn't take you more than 2 to 3 minutes. Finally, answer the questions in 6 to 7 minutes. Letter or email format. As you're going to find answers to the points related to a letter or email, you need to know the structure of that writing before the exam. This will help you to skim the letter or email in 15 seconds and get the gist of that letter or email. Now let's talk about another powerful strategy to ace the CELPIP reading section. Identifying the pieces of a letter or an email. These clues can be like gold mines for understanding the message and finding the answers you need. So here's what you can look for. First, who wrote the message? This is usually easy to find. Just look at the bottom of a letter where you'll see the signature. Next question would be, who is it addressed to? And you need to check the very beginning where the greeting tells you who is receiving this message. Now, what's the main topic? Often the first paragraph will give you a good idea of what the letter or email is all about. Moving on, what does the writer want? Sometimes people write to ask for something or make a request. Try scanning the concluding paragraph to see if there is a clear intention from the writer. Finally, is the tone formal or informal? This might not be directly stated, but by paying attention to the overall language style, you can usually tell if the message is more official or casual. By keeping these points in mind, you can unlock valuable information hidden within the structure of a letter or an email. This, in turn, can help you navigate the CELPIP reading section with confidence. Reading Part 2, Reading to Apply to a Diagram. This section presents a fascinating visual, like a picture or a diagram, alongside a set of questions. On the left side of the screen, you will see a diagram or picture that serves as a visual representation of a situation or process. This section usually depicts a course, a map of an event, a transit schedule, a guide to apply for an ID card like health card or a driver's license, a brochure or a flyer for an event at a community center. On the right side of the screen, you will observe an email containing blank spaces waiting to be filled with your detective skills. This email will likely reference the information presented in the diagram. At the end, 3 additional questions will test your understanding and ability to apply the information from both the diagram and the email. In reading part 2, the diagram usually has 2 to 4 sections, and there are 8 multiple choice questions in total. The first 5 questions are in an email format, and the 3 of them are in fill in the blanks that you have to choose the best options from a drop-down menu. Let's consider the strategy for part 2. First, you need to skim the picture and questions in 10 seconds. Then you need to find out whether the picture you have on the we say left side of the screen is a flyer, an advertisement, a brochure, a map, or a cycle showing of something. Then you need to know who is the creator and where it is from. Also, you need to know and understand how the words and the pictures are connected. Which one comes first? Picture comes first, and then there is a caption, or there is a description of some words and phrases in bullet points. Then we have the picture. You have to understand what is the order. Also, you have to know how is each part of the big picture different from the other side? Is that a comparison, or is it going to find similarities between two products or differences? You have to figure out, you have to deep dive into the diagram and the picture to understand and get more information. And this shouldn't take that long in order to have enough time budget for the answer part. In part 2, as you know, in the question section, we have an email that has some blank spaces, usually 5 blank spaces that you need to find answers from the picture or diagram and then go to the next section. But here, regarding the email or strategy that we used before in part 1, you need to know the answers to 5 questions: who the writer is, who the recipient or the receiver is, what is the subject of the email, what is the writer looking for, and what is the tone of the email. And you know the answer to these questions regarding what we said for part 1. This is the end of reading part 1 and 2. Thank you for watching so far. Keep up the fantastic work. Remember, consistency is the key to success. So stay tuned for our next video on reading part 3 and 4. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with whom you care about. Until then.